So it's that time of year again when sales executives and sellers are re-examining their strategies, what worked and what didn't work. Unfortunately, I've talked with more than a few that are re-examining their job prospects at the same time because, well, things didn't work out exactly as planned. And at the same time, my husband and I celebrated 11 years of marriage. It's gone by so fast because, as they say, time flies when you're having fun. Which I know is true because my first marriage was for 7 years and it felt like 70. But that's another story. But getting fired and getting divorced can feel similar in a lot of ways. And the factors for you to succeed in both also have more than a few things in common. So what makes for a successful marriage and a successful sales year? Here's 3 things that I've observed. First, your relationships with your connections matter way more than you think they do. I met my husband Steve at a keg party at a mutual friend's house. And if it hadn't been for that common connection, we never would have been in the same place at the same time and had that opportunity to meet. This holds for salespeople as well, especially for entrepreneurs. Your close connections will let you know about opportunities before anyone else does, and will make those introductions to help you get in the door first. They are the ones who will refer you to others like them that are fun to work with and who you can help. And don't forget that the cost of acquiring a customer by referral is still way lower than by any other means. So make a plan for how you're going to proactively nurture the connections you have to form deeper relationships. Stay in touch with previous customers when they go to other companies. Introduce your connections to each other. Reach out and just see what's happening with them with no agenda in mind. Send a note, send a postcard just to say thank you. Take them out for lunch when you're in town. Ask for their opinions on things. It doesn't have to be complicated. Now, being at the same keg party as Steve just wasn't enough for us to actually start a relationship. Because what most people don't know is that I went to that keg party with 2 other guys and was in no way interested in meeting a third. Oh yes, that's right. I was a player. But Steve was persistent, and no matter how many shots I made him take, hoping that he would pass out, he was still standing, still asking for my phone number. And by the end of the night, I did give him my number, despite the fact that I had vowed to be done with men for a while. I don't really remember what it was he said throughout the night, but I know that he didn't talk all about himself and what his agenda was, because that's a sure way to not get the girl's phone number. Now, I don't really have to tell you how that relates to sales, do I? Of course, it takes more than a good origin, how we met story to keep a marriage going for 11 years. Just like it takes more than a good first sales experience to keep a relationship with a customer going and going strong. Like in our marriage, you're going to need to find ways to reduce the friction and confusion in how you communicate with your customers and clients. If the only time that they hear from you is when you want something, guess what? They're not going to want to hear from you anymore. And if you aren't taking the time and being proactive about that relationship, things will start to get taken for granted. And like leaving your dirty socks everywhere, it gets annoying fast. This goes for salespeople and for their buyers and sales executives with their teams. The sale doesn't stop once they buy. The recruiting doesn't end once they accept the offer, and the dating must continue if there's going to be a marriage. So I'm going to leave you with this. If you think that the marriage or customer or employee relationships are rainbows and rose petals and that everything's going to be great from here on out, you're going to be in for a bumpy ride. The stuff is going to happen. It's going to hit the fan. Things are going to go wrong. Miscommunications will take place. Feelings and egos are going to get hurt. It's what you do when the stuff does hit the fan that will either build trust or chip away at it. So take ownership of things when they go wrong. Apologize for your part in letting it go wrong, even if it was not your fault. Communicate a plan to move forward from that point. And better yet, have an upfront contract with your spouse or your buyer or your employee. When something goes wrong, how are we going to handle it? Now go out there and love on each other. Just keep it HR safe. Share the love by sharing this with your team, your coworkers, or heck, even your spouse. Follow me here for some random or not so random observations about sales in life, and comment below. How are you maintaining your relationships in your organizations and with your customers? Have fun out there. Until next time.